What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Game Pass in Review here on Save the Game Media. My name is Kevin, aka The Muffin Mon, and if you're new here, this is a series where we play through the good, the bad, the ugly of Xbox Game Pass and review them. Doesn't matter how new, how old, if it's on the service, it's fair game. Today, we're taking a look at Dante's Inferno from 2010. But before we get into it, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content and drop us a review if you're listening over on an audio platform. But let's jump right into Dante's Inferno. The game was developed by the now shut down Visceral Games, who are best known for making the Dead Space series. Unfortunately, EA hates good games and decided to murder them in 2017, so we're not getting a sequel to this game anytime soon, but luckily, Visceral was able to give us Dante's Inferno, which is a game that draws inspiration from Inferno, the first part of Italian writer Dante Alighieri's epic poem Divine Comedy. The game puts you into the role of Dante, a knight during the Third Crusade. Dante, whilst being the main protagonist, is shown throughout the game to not be a very good man, and that is the premise for the game overall. Dante, as part of the Crusades, is killed when he's stabbed in the back, but when the Grim Reaper comes for him, Dante refuses to go. He fights and kills the Grim Reaper, vowing to redeem himself of his sins. Dante attempts to return home to his beloved Beatrice, but when he returns, he finds her and his family slaughtered. Beatrice's spirit is then taken to hell by Lucifer, and Dante sets off on his journey to not only absolve himself of his sins, but to rescue his beloved. That is all I'm going to say without going into the spoilers of the story, because let me tell you, Dante's Inferno actually surprised me. It handles incredibly mature themes, and the way it's depicted is actually really beautiful. You have in-game cutscenes, but you often have this very artistic depiction of the backstory, revealing what sins Dante has committed, whether that be murder, adultery, anything else like that. The game isn't simply Dante's good, beat the bad guy. Dante is incredibly flawed and sometimes pretty unlikable, but he's meant to be. He's meant to depict the flaws in humankind and how we can all strive to improve and make up for our mistakes of the past, despite others, in this case, being those that he encounters in hell, trying to drag him down and stop him. As someone that isn't religious but finds those themes very interesting, I really enjoyed my time with Dante's Inferno. My only criticism is that the game was clearly meant to have a sequel because after the ending, it says to be continued. And as we know, Visceral Games was murdered, rest in peace, so a sequel never came. The actual gameplay of Dante's Inferno is actually very similar to the old God of War games. If you've ever played those over on the PS2, PS3, this is an action adventure hack and slash game to its core. You get one item, the Grim Reaper's Scythe, that you get at the very beginning of the game throughout your entire playthrough, but you will be equipped with a multitude of abilities. You'll gain different magic abilities and a magic cross that allows you to shoot giant crosses at the demons you are going to face. The combat is incredibly fun, fast, fluid, and despite being 12 years old, still holds up very, very well. You'll be able to upgrade your combat abilities through skill trees, but before I discuss those skill trees, I want to say in between the bouts of combat, you're going to be engaged in a lot of platforming and puzzle solving. So if those aren't your things, this might not be for you. While there are some camera issues and obtuse puzzles towards the end of the game, that doesn't take it away from the experience. While navigating these, you'll often come across souls of deceased figures, and you can choose whether to punish or absolve these people. This ties back to the skill trees I mentioned earlier. There are two skill trees known as the unholy path or the holy path. Your actions in and out of combat will actually earn you experience towards one of these two skill trees, depending on whether you want to go more vicious route with the unholy path, or if you want to absolve demons and people of their sins for the holy route and send them off to heaven. These skill trees will shape your gameplay style going forward. And while you can dabble in both, I maxed out my holy skill tree. I just liked it better. I thought it gave more combat abilities that appealed to me. But punishing people often meant just killing them, while absolving them usually led to a quick time event in combat. While out of combat, it actually gives you a little mini game where you're going to need to press the appropriate buttons at the right time as the circles come in, kind of like a rhythm game. The more correct button presses you get, the more souls you earn. Souls are the only currency in this game, and they're going to be used to upgrade your skill trees and your relics. Well, what the heck are relics? Relics are another way to influence your playstyle. They're holy and unholy relics, just like skill trees, and they give you various effects like healing or negating damage, making it easier to combo, etc. These systems really enhance the gameplay experience, in my opinion. Now, obviously, the game is an Xbox 360 game, so compared to today's standards, it doesn't really look all that great, but it isn't an ugly game by any means. I actually think the art style holds up quite well, and the atmosphere is kept intact with stellar music sequences that give you a sense of dread, but also some truly grotesque area designs and enemies. Those worms are nasty. You can tell this is from the Dead Space team because it keeps that hard hitting grotesque feel. Also, shout out to the voice acting in this game. It's truly phenomenal. Every cutscene has such emotion and impact. I loved it. Made the story even more enjoyable, especially Dante and Lucifer. The voice actors, I don't know who they are, killed it beyond belief. I literally only played this game because it's kind of slow right now. There's like no games coming out, but I'm really glad I did. Don't be put off by the fact that this is an Xbox 360 game. It's incredibly fun and worthwhile. My playthrough clocked in at just over 4.5 hours, so it isn't really that big of a time commitment either. You can knock this game out very quick within a few days, and that makes it an easy recommendation for me. That's it. That was my first experience playing Dante's Inferno. If you've played it, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. I've been Kevin. Follow me over at the Muffin Mon. It's a 1-7. I'm 0-7A. Follow us at Save Game Media over on Twitter to stay up to date with everything we got going on. And if you want to support us further, please head on over to patreon.com/save the game media and choose the tier that is right for you. You can get early access to all of our podcasts and all of our YouTube videos like this early and exclusive content coming to you soon. That's all I got. Until next time, goodbye.